Sabaha everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at the RED HYDROGEN One phone. This is a device that had a lot of hype going around it at the time of pre-order, and it's actually currently available from Verizon, so if you'd like to check it out you can go down to your local store. But let's go ahead and do a quick unboxing and initial impressions of this phone, and I want to actually get a chance to see what makes this device so special. This is TK, and I want to say thank you very much to Verizon for allowing me to check out the RED HYDROGEN One. But let's not waste any time. Let's open up that box. So the box is pretty simple for the most part. We have the RED machine, so here is RED Media Machine, that's the company that made the phone, and of course this is the HYDROGEN One. And we have the logo, and overall just basically hydrogen on one side, hydrogen on this side. So on the back of the box we get that this is the RED HYDROGEN One, 128 gigs of internal storage, a 5.7-inch QHD holographic display, dual stereo 12 megapixel cameras on the back, and dual stereo 8 megapixels on the front, an A3D super spatial surround sound for with and without headphones, so the speakers are also going to be really good. A pre-installed SIM card, since this is a Verizon exclusive, I don't have to worry about that. Wall charger, USB cable, and of course the welcome guide. And here we have it. The box is pretty nice, and it looks like, oh, it does open up on the side, so let's go ahead and put it here. And we'll go ahead, hydrogen right there. And here's the phone. Wow, look at that. Let's go ahead and take out the phone first. And so definitely a wide phone. I like the construction on it. It looks really, I mean, it has very good grips on the side. That's one thing you could definitely see. And there's that little red button right there. Fingerprint sensor sitting right there under the power button, as well as on the left side we have volume buttons that are nice and big. This kind of reminds me a little bit of, I would say, one of the other phones on the market that have a lot of similar characteristics. Wonder where they got some of their aesthetical inspiration, I would say. But this is the Razer Phone 2. This is the new version of it. Obviously the Razer Phone 1 looks pretty much the same in the size as far as aesthetics, but you can definitely see that they borrowed a lot. So you have the front facing speakers. The dual camera setups on the front obviously are unique. We only have one camera here, but the placement of the fingerprint sensor with the actual power button is unique there. So this is basically the 5.7 holographic QHD display. We have dual stereo 8 megapixel sensors, as well as front facing speakers that are going to be basically not only supposed to be good, but also spatial. So that's the A3D spatial sound that they said, with or without the headphones. On the top we have a 3.5mm headphone jack. We have a micro SD SIM card, so there's going to be the SIM card and SD card, so you do have memory expansion here. A USB-C with 2 microphones at the bottom. On the left side we just have the volume rockers on top, plus and minus. On the right side we have the power button, as well as the fingerprint sensor, and also we have that one red magic button that I'm assuming will also trigger video. And on the back we have the RED Media Machine, Hydrogen, and of course the Pogo Ping. Now this says it lit by Leah, so I'm not sure what that means, but overall the construction itself here, still plastic, carbon fiber at the top, and we have a nice little protector here over the camera sensors. We have a dual 12 megapixel sensors with dual tone LED flash, a microphone, and basically some buttons that kind of look like they're H for hydrogen, I guess, and the same thing at the bottom here. But nothing else as far as construction. It does feel extremely, really good rigid here. Let's go ahead and do the screen protector here. Ever so satisfying. The SIM card, as I mentioned, is already installed. Here we just have some user guide manuals. There's no images or anything like that. We also have a power brick that mirrors exactly the same construction as the phone. You can see right there the grips on the side. It's a USB-C to USB-C, so what we get here essentially is a USB-C to USB-C RED cable that looks really nice. As far as the travel charger, output levels are going to be right there, 5 to 9 volt at 12, well, it's 5 to 9 to 12 volt between 3 amp, 2 amp, and 1.5 amps. So hopefully we'll be able to charge our device quite quickly. And you can see right there that we have the Verizon logo coming on again, as this is a Verizon exclusive in the US. So here we are on the home screen. The launcher has some customizations. We have a somewhat of a feed here on the left side, and of course all the other applications are installed. Swipe up gets us into the app drawer. I did go through and run one quick update on the device. There was one update that brought up a security patch update to October 1st. Here we are, October 1st for the security patch update. Android 8.1.0, no Android 9.0 yet. HYDROGEN One, model number is H1A1000. And of course, this is basically running the latest software that they have. If there's any additional software updates, I went through the actual applications for the update, and as far as the Google Play Store, I installed all the applications, Twitter, and some of the applications there. I even went into the RED, right there, we'll go in there, And this is basically kind of like their home app launcher exploration for content that's compatible with the 4-view display that we have here. Now, this is a Quad HD display. Its technology is basically what they're calling as the hydrogen device. It's what's making this device very unique. On top of the fact that we have also stereo sound that also kind of has some optimizations for these basically experiences. So you can go here at the top here, we have games, we have Asphalt 8, there's a version of that and I'm downloading that. Unfortunately, it's taken a little bit of time to finish right there. There's Sniper Strike and there's Modern Combat, as well as some of the other applications like Holopix, Hydrogen Network, as well as the RED player. Now, RED player is obviously the player that you're going to be using to play the content after you record it. After here, there's like a few sections you can explore other stuff. And in here, when we scroll down a little bit, there's more. There's Editor's Choice for more games, and of course, other applications like Aura, Clay, and Holopix. I have to say that the display itself, obviously you can't see it in this video. There's no way for me to show this to you guys. But what I can tell you is that essentially, if you've ever held one of these holographic cards where when you're looking at it straight in one point and you turn it slightly, ever so slightly to the left, and the image kind of changes a little bit, well, this one doesn't change the image, but it's almost like we're seeing the side view of that image. And it's the same thing here when I'm loading the application, the Aura app. Here's the Hydrogen Network. You can launch it. The icon to me, or at least this logo, is raised. To you, it probably looks like a flat image, but to me, it looks like a raised image. And I can go through the content. So here we can go into categories, featured movies, popular, all of that stuff here. You can check out, go about, and go home. The RED player doesn't have anything in there, but you can access the information off of your phone if you have anything saved in there. Scroll down. We have Aura. I downloaded this application and it just kind of allows us to draw in space. This is kind of a space drawing application. And again, for you, it looks like a standard image, but for me, it actually almost looks like the display raises every time I move my finger. And of course, I can undo some of these things and go in and play different options. There are other applications they had in there. We had Clay, which kind of does the same thing, allows us to basically draw different things on the device. I'll give it a second to draw. So again, for you guys, you could kind of see like how these ridges look like they're raised slightly. You can see some of these actual information there. But to me, it actually looks like it's actually raised from the display. So that's really where the hydrogen display or the hydrogen phone display just looks so nice. And of course, I can change the opaquency, the color, and I can also close and go back. Very nice, very good. And they have this application called Holopix, which essentially is a hydrogen-based, or all images taken with hydrogen phone. So basically, think about it basically as a gallery of best images taken with this. And again, you really, the only way I can explain it is you can see some of this pixelation in the screen. I probably see it right there. You can see right there like how the image kind of flickers ever so slightly. And to me, it just basically looks, it's pretty much the same with the except of the 3D effect where I can actually see the difference between the foreground and the background. For you, it kind of just looks like it's moving, but for me, it looks so much different there. You can swipe back, you can see there's more scenery. This one's just more of a cat. You can see a little bit of a difference here right there. Look at the background over there. You can see how the background kind of changes and the image ever so slightly tilts. It just looks more natural, of course, we're using the device. And I wanted to see some of these things that basically are a little bit more stunning. So you can see right there, ever so slightly, you can see the background behind the image ever so slightly moving with it. Again, for me, when you're looking straight at it, it just has that effect where it just looks 3D and it's just like it's standing out from the actual image itself, especially the foreground portion with the tree and the little stone area that's standing right there. It looks really, really nice. I'm pretty sure you guys want to know about the specification. And one of the things that was a big splash about this, not necessarily in a positive way, was the fact that it's still running the Snapdragon 835. Now, it's not a bad CPU. We're pretty much at the cusp of the Snapdragon 855 coming out, and the 835 was basically what it was released with at the end of 2018. So just keep that in mind. Overall, the device itself is not a bad device. It has a really good display. It's a Quad HD display and a 5.7-inch display. And what you're getting here essentially is just what they offered you with, obviously the 128 gigs of internal storage. That's just going to be really nice, and 6 gigs of RAM for this system. So it should be more than enough to run almost anything that you'd like to run in 2018. And I think that's something you want to keep that in mind, is that this device is not slow by any means. It's just that it's what it offers is what it makes it unique. So let's go ahead and play a quick song. So here we have Alex Scrindo Jumbo NCS release. I'm going to go to 100%. And the reason why I want to show you guys a quick audio sample here is because we have actually an ability of turning on 3D sound. So you notice right there, you can turn it on or turn it off. I want to see what the difference is as far as playing music with this device. Definitely, it's noticeable. You can definitely hear the difference in the EQ. It almost sounds more of an EQ configuration than necessarily louder sound. Although for some reason, for me, it kind of sounds a little bit better with the 3D sound off. But again, it depends on the content that you're watching. The camera application is very unique. This is designed specifically for this device. Let's go ahead and tilt it up. So we do have a way of initiating the camera button. So let's go ahead and turn it on here. If I press and hold the camera button by itself, so here it is, press and hold it, it will launch the camera for me, and I can use this as a shutter button. So keep that in mind. Again, we'll tilt it one more time. We have HDR, face beauty mode, of course. We have the ability of going into settings. So right now, let's go back. We are in the camera settings itself. So we are able to go between 2D and 4D or 4V. So you can see, well, again, I can't, it's hard for me to show you, but here's my hand, and then if I turn it on, the hydrogen functionality kind of turns on right there. It's, again, it just looks ever so slightly. So here's the regular display, regular image, switching it over. And you can ever so slightly, you see how the image kind of looks slightly different, and it looks more 3D for me. And of course, I can just basically take an image of that, and then of course, we can still go into the player or the image viewer and see that effect. So you can see right there, the image ever so slightly kind of changing, as opposed to if I just took a standard image. Let's go back, we'll take a standard image, same thing, much faster without that camera shutter. So you can see right there here, well, actually you have to turn on the 4V. As far as still resolution, we're able to go to 4056 by 3040 as far as both from the front and the back sensor, and it's only capable of providing us with JPEG quality images. We have filter, panorama, self-timer, assistive grid, histogram, as well as adjust control here. You can go manual, shutter sound, which is what we were hearing before, storage, as well as still resolution. We kind of looked into that there. Switching over to the video side, which gets a little bit more information actually. We have time-lapse, slow motion, as well as assistive grid, histogram, adjust control, storage, which is if you have an SD card, since this device does support it. But under video is really where it gets very creative. We can go all the way from 720p to 4K. But not only that, we can go to 720p to 1440 at 30 frames per second. This is on the front camera, by the way. So 1440 at the highest is 30 frames. 1080p, we can go all the way up to 60 frames per second on the front-facing cameras. 720p, of course, and that's basically 720p 480. That's just for the lower resolution. But you're also able to customize basically the bitrate on this device. So it's really nice, from 42 to 100 megabits, and of course H.264 or 265. On the back cameras, which obviously are the higher megapixel cameras, you're able to not only go up to 4K at 30 frames per second, but 1440 at 60 frames per second, 1080p at 60, of course, and we still have the ability of going on these guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot two videos, one on the front cameras and one on the back cameras. Obviously not in 2D or 4V. I'm going to just shoot them in standard 2D and share those with you guys, but I'm going to keep them at 30 frames per second, 42 megabits, as well as H.264. So hopefully compatibility would be good, but really nice to have so much options as far as what you can do with the cameras.
So here's a quick sample of the front-facing cameras on the Hydrogen phone in 2D mode. Obviously it wouldn't really help me to produce something in 4V as it's not going to be compatible with my timeline. But the main thing that you want to basically take away from this is what can you expect from this device. Now I am shooting at 4K at 30 frames per second, and I will downsize that to 1080p 30 frames per second. But you can definitely see the quality that you're able to use from these sensors. And the fact is, we can get 4K out of a front-facing camera sensor on a device. Any device in 2018 or even 2019 doesn't even do that, other than this phone. They, for some reason, have chosen to cap at 1080p, like that's a magic. Now on the back sensors, we're still able to go to 4K at 30 frames per second. Unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, I think the 835 is not capable of going to 4K at 60 frames per second. So I think for the most part, we're really at the best that we can do with the sensors that we have here. But as far as still imagery, we're going to be able to take not only 4D or 4V images, we can also take standard 2D images and share them on regular social medias. But if you take 4V or those holographic images or videos, you're also able to share them on that network that I just shared with you guys.
So I downloaded the Asphalt 8 4V, and I can definitely see that the entire UI is actually in 4V, so it's definitely a different experience playing this game as opposed to just the standard Asphalt 8. So let's go ahead and do a quick race. So the gameplay seems interesting. The uniqueness of this is, does it make the gameplay better? Probably not right now at least. My initial impressions of this device is a little bit of a mixed bag. I'm really excited with the fact that this device has a holographic display. The 4-camera setup, 2 on the back, 2 on the front, will provide you with that experience, and you can actually jump in and out of it whenever you want. It does not run on the launcher, but it does run within certain applications. You can take obviously 4V images and video and share them on their social network. It will not work with other devices that do not have the same technology to be able to show the actual image in 4V. So As far as overall experience or initial impressions, I think this is a great media consumption device. It has great sound. The speakers are very much loud and in your face. 3.5mm headphone jack, a decent sized display, a high quality display, and of course has decent sized cameras. And one of the features that I definitely was surprised to find out is the fact that this device can do 4K at 30 frames per second on the front sensors. Not only on the back, but as well as on the front. And that is very rare to see something above 1080p on a front-facing sensor. Even if the sensor's like 13, 25 or whatever, there's a lot of devices on the market that have high megapixel sensors in the front, but they cap them at 1080p. And I think that's just a lost potential. But as far as, you know, does this justify the price, the availability, the specifications, and what we get in the box? That's the other side of the mixed bag. I'm a little bit kind of, I'm going to say I'm a little bit reserved, and I'm going to wait till about a week or so from using this device to be able to give you guys that kind of an impression. I'll be taking a lot of pictures, a lot of content, trying to share a lot of 2D content on that. And if you are following, or if you are part of the 4V content on there, I'll give you guys a link in the description below to be able to follow me there and check out those images. Just keep in mind, you do have to have a device that's compatible with those images so that you can enjoy them the way I did. But at the end, basically, this is great technology and it has a lot to offer. It may not be the best phone on the market, but it definitely is a very niche market type of phone. If you're looking for content creation, which is what I really want to try using this, the front-facing 4K, tell me what you think at the end of this video. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support. Thank you to Verizon for allowing me to check out the Hydrogen One, and I'll see you guys in the next video.